Hello and welcome to this masterclass on how to prevent burnout. I felt that the energy of this new year in January 2023 were not the most positive, and I really wanted to share with you that burnout is not taboo, and we can try to understand together what causes it, what are the symptoms, and most importantly, because this is a coaching masterclass, to help you to prevent it and to set some actions for you to take if you wish. So first of all, let me remind you, or if you've never seen me before, who I am. So I'm Pauline and I'm a certified coach. I'm based in London, but I do all my work mainly online, one-on-one. So I help you in your career when you want to transition, but also I can help you to gain clarity if you want more work-life balance and to help you gain confidence. So as I said, I'm going to take you through what is burnout, what are the causes, some of the symptoms, which are 3 parts of it, and lastly, how to prevent it. And for that section, I will encourage you to take maybe a pen and some paper, because I want you to be a bit of more of an interactive masterclass and for you to answer some of my questions. So what is burnout? This is a word we hear a lot. It's all over the media, but I wanted for you to be clear on the definition. So it's a form of the exhaustion caused by chronic stress. And it really comes up when the demands of someone is just outstripped by their ability to cope with it. So research really shown that burnout has 3 main elements. It's first to feel emotionally overwhelmed, to feel cynical and detached, and lastly to feel ineffective and lacking accomplishment. And then it's something that actually builds up over time and is a result of prolonged stress and feeling being overwhelmed, drained, and then suddenly you're just unable to cope. And for some people, it's just you can't get out of bed. And that's really at the end of it. So by preventing it, you avoid going into that really dark space. So in terms of the causes, as I said, there are multiple. So some of it can be to be overworked, clearly, or to find that your work is no more meaningful for you. There's no sense attached to it. It could be that you feel very much under pressure. There's too much demand from you, too much task to be done. It could be that your manager is setting new targets that are really unreachable. Factually, you just cannot reach them timely, or even just by the amount of work that would be required to achieve them. It could be that you're just bored of your work, and it could be that your manager is infantilizing you. It could be that you feel you've lost confidence at work because you don't feel valued, you don't feel recognized for your action. So it's a combination of maybe a few causes. So maybe you can think about your own situation, if any of that rings any bell for you. And then I'll go into the symptoms. So the first part of it are the physical one. They are sometimes the more easy to recognize. So again, I invite you to maybe think about your situation and see if any of that relates to you. So really feeling fatigues and feeling tired all the time. And by that also, it affects your sleep. So you don't sleep so well, you've got insomnia. It could be that you lack energy. Even though you had a good night's sleep, you'd feel exhausted in the morning. Excessive stress, obviously, but that will impact also the way you eat. So either overeat or undereat. It could feel that you've got migraines day after day and headache. And then physically also you feel back pains. And then it could be also some viral infection like sinusitis that requires antibiotics, but then you're in the cycle, it comes back again and again. The second kind of symptoms are emotional. So you feel very much sad most of the time. You've got a lot of anger. Maybe you feel irritable. You could feel that sometimes you've got crisis, anxiety crisis. It could show up also as feeling overwhelmed and in overwork denial. So, people add on more and more work, but you don't see that it's too much on your plate. And that also is linked to emotional detachment. And lastly, the behavioral symptoms. So that's when, for example, you see more and more signs of clumsiness, and you're starting to work evenings and you haven't done much before. You're starting to work at the weekend. As a result, to keep you going, you misuse alcohol and coffee. You start to really increase your intake, and you refuse to stop because you're in the denial. And then that creates isolation because you don't have energy for your social life, for your friends, or to see family. And then it's a spiral of negative emotion, which leads to feeling cynicism, apathy, and soreness. So those are the behavioral symptoms. So can you recognize any of those for yourself? So I invite you to take a few minutes to think about it. And then the next session, it's when I want you to take your pen and paper, and I'll share with you a tool to support you. So this is the burnout scale, and you will see on the left, it's the signs of burnout, and on the right, it's when you're thriving. So it's the opposite. So on the left, you've got the emotional exhaustion. We talked about the feeling cynical and detached, and the feeling ineffective and not achieving goals. And on the reverse of that, you've got high energy, strong connection, and feeling effective and capable. So I'm going to take you through a few questions for you to really think about and reflect on your own situation and your own life for now. So first of all, where are you on that burnout scale? So for each of those three elements, I want you to maybe put a number or just to rate where you feel you are. Is it towards the left, middle, or towards the right? 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, depending on how you want to, 1 to 5, you decide on the scale. And once you've done that, now I want you to really think about which of those three elements needs your focus most. Is it the emotionally exhaustion? Is it the feeling cynical? Or is it the feeling ineffective? And I want you to choose one of them that you find is more priority. Next, I want you to think of what's one small thing you could do to move one unit up the scale towards the thriving. So to think about one little thing to move you one unit towards the thriving in the area you prioritized. And lastly, I want you to think about what the difference would be and it would make in your life if you did that thing consistently. So the one action you've just, the one small thing you just written down, what difference would it make in your life if you did it consistently, regularly? How would you feel? How will you be? So now if I move on, and if we start to focus on the emotional exhaustion versus high energy on that scale. So if you're feeling emotionally exhausted, I want to help you to dig deeper and to really reflect a bit further. So what activities help you to process emotions currently? What activity in your life do you do to help you to process emotions? And then the next question is, how can I build more time for these activities? They could be 1 or 2 or 3, even for just 15 minutes a week. How can you build more time for those activities, even if it's just 15 minutes a week? The next question is, one small change can I make to my sleep, my nutrition, my energy level that will make a big difference to my energy levels? So I repeat, one small change can I make in my nutrition, sleep, and energy level that would make a big difference to my energy levels? And you've got the recording for this, so you can just press pause and take more time if you need, and rewind to the previous question if it wasn't clear for you. You take at your pace. And the last question is, who could support you to look after yourself? So maybe think about someone who's not going to judge you, who's going to be your accountable buddy, who's going to be there to make sure you do the action and you implement the action you've just set for yourself. If I carry on, the second element of burnout was to feel cynical and detached about work, about life. So the contrary is to feel strong connection, and that's when you're thriving. So here again, so if you're feeling cynical and detached, what is the most important to you and to give you joy? What is most important to you and what gives you joy? And then I want you to reflect and think about what or who makes a bad day feel better. Who or what makes a bad day feel better? And lastly, what's one small thing you could do today that will help you feel connected to what's important to you? So what's the one small thing you could do today to help you feel more connected to what's really important to you? And lastly, if you're feeling ineffective or not achieving your goals, so you're on the burnout scale rather than on striving where you would feel effective, you would feel capable in your work life and daily life. So I want you to think now at what are you doing well? So what are you doing well? And my second question to you, it's what would you say to a friend or a colleague who was feeling how you're feeling? So what would you say to a friend or a colleague who was feeling how you're feeling now? And the third element and question is, what is it in your control to change? What is in your control to change? And the last question, it's what could be one small thing that you could do today that will help you to feel more effective. So I repeat, what's one small action, what small thing that you could do today to help you feel more effective? As I said, thank you for listening, and it's recorded, so go back to the question and don't hesitate to tune in to those questions and really dig deeper in your reflection. If you have any question, I'm there, so don't hesitate to send me an email as well and share. If something wasn't clear and you've got a question, and I will help you define some actions if you wish as well. But really, I think what's important to remember is burnout is not fun. It's a source of suffering. But don't isolate. Speak to people that you feel confident and you will feel not judged. Reach out to people. Don't stay in your little corner. It will only make things worse. And there's probably more people than you think that are suffering from it or on the edge of. So I hope this was helpful, and I really want this topic not to feel taboo anymore. So that was my aim with this masterclass. And this is where you can find me on Instagram. This is my email, my website. So go check it out. And if you scan the barcode, you have access to my Calendly, which is where you can get half an hour free of discovery call, and I get to speak about what is coaching. If it's you share with me where you're at, and we see if the next step is to go and work with me or not. It's really open, non-engagement, no commitments required, just happy to chat and meet you. So hopefully you find that helpful. Don't hesitate to share it with friends or colleagues you feel that would benefit from it. And thank you for listening. Bye.